And I'm here with Dr. Rupa Shah, the founder of Global Vegan Business Expo, which is just 7 days away. I hope you have already booked your tickets by now because we are just around the corner and it's already buzzing with a lot of activities and lots of things happening. We have over 80 speakers at the expo. Right, Dr. Rupa?
That's right. It turned out to be like I thought there will be a few speakers,
Yes.
but now I'm aware that there's so many talented vegan, plant-based, speakers around, and it's really going to be exciting time.
Yes.
Most needed at this time because I think there is a lot of interest in plant-based lifestyle now, and people are very hungry for knowledge. They have heard little bit here and there, but here we want to put many speakers on the panel and start sharing their knowledge on a very solid ground so that this movement can go and take off onto the next level.
Okay, great. And today we have very special guests here. Let me start with Dr. Ajoy Prabhu. He specializes in pathology and lifestyle medicine. And with him is Dr. Jennifer Prabhu, who is an MD in internal medicine and pediatrics. Hello, Dr. Ajoy, and hello, Dr. Jenny. We're just glad to have you here. So let's start with you, Dr. Ajoy. Please tell us about how you became vegan.
So this was my journey to veganism came completely from my research side. I was kind of pesco vegetarian or pesco ovo vegetarian, I guess. So mostly eating fish and eggs, and I was Dr. Jenny and I were collaborating on some of our patients, and we were finding really good results with the kind of advice that we were getting from research and her actual practice. And we noticed that at that time, those days, I used to eat a lot more protein. We were exercising a lot and so on, and no matter how much exercise I did, my cholesterol level never came down. So it has nothing less to do with being vegan as such, but mostly when I was looking at the research, I kept telling her, oh, these things work. And then Dr. Jenny came to me one day and said, look, if your cholesterol does not come down, you have to take medication, as you know. And I said, I don't want medication. And that was what, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. And, my cholesterol was really high. And she said, we have to do something about it. So she said, why don't you take the advice that we give to our patients? And I said, yes, you're right. I mean, we have to lead by example. But I was not very convinced that it's going to come down, even though I was giving the advice because it was all theoretical. I was not very convinced that it was going to actually make a difference. Long story short, in 9 months' time, my total cholesterol went from 240 to 140. And I could not believe it because, I mean, unless you take, a strong, the very, make a concerted effort in therapy, you're not going to drop your cholesterol level that much. And I was absolutely convinced. And slowly, that was 3 years ago. Nowadays, I notice a huge difference in my endurance, healing, and completely gone because of this. So I'm totally convinced. And then we decided that we can definitely start some kind of a practice where we can help people more and more. So we have a bunch of patients that we're helping, basically reverse diseases.
Awesome. What about you, Dr. Jenny? How did you turn vegan?
So I've actually been vegetarian for over 15 years, but just like Ajoy mentioned, we had started doing more research into a plant-based diet, and so I think I did it before you.
Yes.
But just after the birth of our second son, I decided. So I was always vegetarian. Decided to become only plant-based, and I absolutely felt a difference. I mean, so Joy went from eating meat to plant-based. I went from vegetarian to plant-based, and I definitely noticed without milk and eggs and cheese how much better I felt. I lost 10 pounds, which was a added bonus. And I just feel lighter and more energetic. I'm a runner, and my running has improved. My sleeping has improved. My anxiety has improved. Just in general, feel 100 times better. and I guess both of us having experienced the transformation once we've incorporated a plant-based lifestyle, it makes it easier for us to recommend it to our patients. So, you know, lead by example, like Ajoy said. So, you know, we continue to do so just because we feel great and no pain. And
yeah, and also helps the environment, right? So,
oh, of course, yeah. I mean, my mother brought me up to be an environmentalist. So, in fact, she actually stopped, gosh, like 10 years ago, she was the one that introduced us to almond milk and soy milk. She said, you shouldn't be drinking cow's milk anymore. So my mom was the head of the game, and, you know, she'd be very proud of us now, I think.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Then, I mean, coming back to, I mean, how do you convince your patients now that you're leading by example? It's actually you're both are leading by example. Are your patients convinced, or do they come up with excuses?
So, some of them take a little pushing and prodding, like I did. I mean, I needed some pushing and prodding. It depends on how the patient reacts. I mean, if a patient is thinking, well, no, I really cannot do without my meat and so on. So what we do is we take them the gentler route, you know, saying, okay, you know, how about try meatless Monday, you know, no meat on Monday, because, you know, remember we are, you know, most of our patients are still in America, not in India, and they every single day they have to have meat. So we said, try just one day a week, you know, meatless Monday, and tell us how you feel on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not Wednesday, but Tuesday especially. And, you know, they started saying, yeah. And some of them are very important. And when they see the difference dairy makes to their inflammation level, you know, if they are arthritic or something like that, if it makes a difference, that also kind of convinces them, okay, you know, I need to try a little bit more than what I've been saying. Maybe what they're saying makes sense. Some others are fairly good about it, right? I mean, you have some patients that just completely stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of many, but one particular lady, she's in her mid 70s, decided, you know, I recommended that she become vegan, and she listened to me 100%. And 3 months later came back to my office and had lost 40 pounds. And I was able to take her off of 2 out of 3 of her blood pressure medicines. And she's just feeling, she said she feels like she's, you know, in her 40s instead of in her 70s. So, I think once they realize how much better they feel, it's a lot easier to convince them. But, you know, it depends on the patient. Some need the more gradual approach, and some just want to go whole hog. We tell people try to be vegan for 21 days. Try to commit to 21 days, and you really should notice a difference in what you crave and your taste buds and everything. And that does work if people actually listen. I know it's a hard decision, but if they do it, they realize that I don't need my meat and my cheese anymore.
The other thing we try to do is we don't try to be more doctory about it. We try to be almost like friends or coaches. So sometimes, you know, if they're so keen on meat, we tell them, look, we, especially in America, you know, get these meat substitutes. So we feel, you know, that's not the best way to, like, you don't want to be on that meat substitute forever, but it gets them started somewhere, right? So we tell them, use the meat substitute. It's made of soy, or if it's made of wheat or whatever, and it'll make you transition from meat eating to, you know, plant eating. That's one way to, you know, we kind of try to convince them. The other thing we try to do is we actually send them information on, you know, like WhatsApp or whatever, wherever whatever platform they prefer, that's fine. We send them dishes that we are actually cooking and saying, look, doesn't this look good? I mean, and once they get to the point that, oh yeah, vegetables are not that bad, you know, that's when they get convinced. Yeah, not just salad. It's not, you know, because especially in out west, I mean, out in the Western world, which has got beans and, you know, potatoes and greens and stuff like that mixed in and sauteed, like, you know, actually heated up and things like that. So we try to convince them that there are other things besides the typical Western diet that you should look at. So it's generally helped.
Yeah. I think you can exchange notes with Dr. Rupa Shah because she
Yes.
uses similar strategy for her patients. What would you say, Dr. Rupa? What would you add to it?
Basically, we doctors are not, taught much about nutrition. We are in our medical college, we know how to manage a disease, but we do not have much knowledge
Yes.
of nutrition, and we also do not have any idea or any clue about prevention of diseases. So we have to now start our foundation right from what we eat as the first step. And then if you are eating right, probably you don't need much medication. I think so many of lifestyle related diseases, will reverse, and the burden on the healthcare system will reduce quite a lot, and we will have much better world to live in, not only for ourselves but for the coming generation. So this is absolutely an urgent
Right, right.
message. When it comes from a doctor's mouth, it's going to be very valuable. So I am gathering more and more doctors who speak the same language and tell the world, that this is the way forward. We have found it, a path where you don't need medications. You just eat right and you can remain healthy. So this is the purpose of the Vegan Business Expo also, to create awareness, introduce some of the vegan products just for the time being to get going. And later on, you don't even need much of the products because everything can
Right.
be made at home and you can live a very simple life. So, but really to promote this entire concept further, and now it's the need of the hour because of the pandemic as well, and maybe for the future pandemics we need something to protect ourselves right away.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, we think this is absolutely the right time, right platform, and I think the divine also works to and sends us the right people to come in. So I very much recommend all those who are listening to us right now to share this post. Dr. Ajoy Prabhu and Dr. Jenny Prabhu will be our speakers at the expo. Come and attend and listen to their talk, and take home the message of becoming healthy.
Yes, and the last question, that what topic are you going to be discussing at the expo, Dr. Ajoy?
So we were thinking of talking about so recently we've noticed that a lot of people are coming to us and saying, what is this intermittent fasting thing and how does it relate to, plant-based diet that you guys are talking about and so on. So we felt that this might be a good opportunity to kind of like weigh the pros and cons of each. And, a ship cannot be turned really fast. So people who are kind of less reluctant to or more reluctant to kind of move towards a plant-based diet, what we do is we kind of reel them in by showcasing how fasting works, very similar mechanisms and so on, and bring them on board. And then of course, kind of move them more towards a better health lifestyle, because intermittent fasting is great, it should be done, but I think it in combination is a long-term strategy that really works, I mean, for us as well as for our patients. So we're thinking of doing a question and answer session. So
Between the two of us.
we'll just ask each other questions, and she will talk about intermittent fasting and I will talk about whole food plant-based.
Okay, awesome. All right. So everybody, we have Dr. Ajoy and Dr. Jenny. Don't miss their talks. It's going to be very eye-opening, and they've had amazing experience with the plant-based diet. They've seen amazing transformations, and they've enabled many transformations. So please catch their talk. The schedule will be out in a few days, so we can all look forward for that. And with that, we say bye-bye to everybody, and please catch us on Monday now. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Ajoy, and thanks, Dr. Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.